signs on places I've been a million times. So even if it's not a sign that you're like, oh, I didn't even know that was there, it might be a sign that's, oh, yeah, I should go there again. You know, but the sign doesn't have to be halfway back. The sign could be up on Split Rock.
Yes.
So it's not like the sign would have to be so far removed.
You could allow, yeah, you could, I mean, you could build a sign big enough to accommodate the entire property on the frontage. It's just, would there be enough space on it to advertise 10 businesses, 12 businesses, 6, right? Like, yeah, I mean, we limit the size, because like I said, we can't limit content, so, I mean, we can basically just devise the sign with the size, which we spent hours going through what size a sign should be. I mean, we even went so far as to talking one time about when, oh, now I can't remember, it was a pizza joint that opened up and they had all this pizza maker on top of the building and all this signage for a grand opening, you know, what was allowable even for that? So, I guess we could always go back and discuss the sign regulations, but boy, we spent the better part of a month trying to figure out what size to allow for signs in the city. Anything from like we had to discuss the little football and band signs that go in people's front yards to a realtor sign to, now we couldn't classify them by their definition, we just had to give sizes. We did ask Paul to calculate the size of that, the square footage of the,
Yeah, would,
Marcos. Yeah, we wanted
yeah.
Paul to climb up there and figure out the square footage of the Marcos guy on top of the Marcos building when it was open.
I guess they could, you know, rent a little corner on the church to the north there and use some of their frontage for a sign.
I mean, yes.
my opinion, I would agree that I'd be concerned if we were to try to change something based on a particular one single idea, we'd inadvertently open up something, and we worked hard to do is make sure that other, particularly commercial areas in general, weren't overwhelmed with signage, and it's still early. So I think I hear that there are a couple of avenues for someone who has a property like this through either mutual access or potentially through a variance process. We talked about
I mean, this,
Yes.
an
this,
instance, so
this particular property that we're talking about, to me, has a hardship. It has no frontage. Okay, so that's a perfect example of a property that has a hardship that would allow us to grant a variance, just like we did for the hockey.
Or the B and G.
Additional hardship would be the drainage way.
I don't know if it's the drainage way, it's just,
It-
that particular parcel has no frontage. It's accessed by a mutual access, so
That is a topographical thing that would affect
that
a
does not
variance.
allow them to put a sign because of its,
Doesn't allow them access off of Redwood either.
so something that's, so I,
the drainage is part of that.
so I don't know if that, the owners originally owned that, sold that off to the city, or how this happened.
What's that? The lot or the drainage way?
I would like to have an explanation, because we own the drainage way there and behind the townhouses, and then we don't own the drainage way, nor do we have an easement for that for
Where it
Redwood
continues
Ranch.
through, yeah.
And then
What?
we get, then we own the drainage easement, or the drainage way, once we get past that driveway. So, I do not have an explanation.
What?
No, it's, we've got adverse possession on it, because it's been there long enough. But, yeah, we don't have an easement nor own the parcel that it's located on, I don't think.
I'm guessing the drainage way was added after all the duplexes were in.
No,
I
That's
don't
why it
think
goes
so.
around
I
the
don't
back
think so,
side.
actually.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think, no, I don't think so, actually. And it might have had to do with the natural, there might have been a ditch running there.
Yes.
And so they just made the drainage way follow the ditch that led to the river, would be my guess. Because I don't think those townhomes were built on fill. I'm pretty sure the land was just there. TJ, go ahead. I'm sorry, man.
Nope, Nope, I agree with everything you were saying. Just to kind of give you guys an idea, I think the visual would be very similar to Split Rock Square today, how the 212 and the Hague building sit way back in there as a separate building, but their sign is way up on Split Rock. So that'd be kind of the same concept here. If a building went on that east vacant parcel, their sign would be still up on Split Rock, even though their frontage is not. Kind of give you a visual, it'd be very similar to the 212 building that we have today in the Hague
But-
building.
Couldn't we have like one sign with multiple tenants listed on it?
Well, if you have two parcels and two buildings, the size of the sign is based off the size of the buildings. Now I have two buildings, so I don't have a combined square footage to allow a huge sign up front like you're asking.
Yeah, right now, the sign on Split Rock would be limited to 125 square feet. That's the length.
Sure. Okay,
For a freestanding sign.
yep,
There's also wall signs that
yep.
could be mounted, but if there's a building on the east half of that property, a wall-mounted sign really isn't gonna do much.
Not from Split Rock.
Yeah.
So what would you like from us?
So something is coming potentially, so we just wanted some general direction, whether a variance was your preferred approach, or, I mean, obviously you can't pre-decide, but just if, we just wanted some direction, so, yeah. We just wanted to have some discussion about,
I don't know if there's any appetite to change the ordinance, the sign ordinance for a lot.
yep.
I mean, we could if you don't have anything going on in January and February and maybe a little March.
If it stays nice outside, though, I'll
And
take
right,
it.
Now, last time we thought something would go through rather quickly and easily. It took a year
well, yeah,
for the neighborhood business.
yeah,
So, and if you remember, and don't take my facial expressions when you mentioned reopening the sign regulations as a negative.
I was there.
But I remember sitting through a couple of meetings, I think 3 to be exact, where we discussed ad nauseum signs.
Yes.
Sony.
Well, and that all had to change because they had a Supreme Court thing that said
Yes.
we couldn't base it on content. So we had to get rid of the off-premise signs, we had to get rid of, yes. Yes. Okay. So probably not gonna change the ordinance. Is that what I hear? I mean, we've granted a variance for a sign when when it was
And-
necessary.
Just kind of looking here, if you kind of went with the back half of that building, if you said that that was the frontage on Redwood, it's about 170, 175 feet. If we had the discussion with variance and said that that drainage ditch creates a situation where they don't have frontage to Redwood for signage, and so, I mean, I think that,
Let's not do a variance hearing right now, though.
no, I'm not. I'm just saying,
Just throwing out
I,
ideas.
I think that versus reopening that signage can of worms, we could look at what's unique about this property versus
Yes.
changing the whole ordinance. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
And I
Anything
think
else?
with the B&G Milky Way, a precedent has already been set.
Yeah. Okay, anything else on that? No? The last thing is to review the building permits. I'm not gonna say it, Paul. Not gonna say it. Not gonna say it, I'm not saying anything. Okay, having no other items, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned at 8:11.